when you're talking about like why do the American people not trust their government, it's really this fracture that starts around the Kennedy era and time frame. And you can see then that distrust kind of evolves. But going back to your original question, why do people refuse to kind of question conspiracy theory? Maybe there's some substance to it. And I think it's because it's more comfortable for people from a psychological perspective to live in this comfort area that their government might not do something like that.
Right.
Or might not try to cover up something like that because that's just an easy way of life. But look.
It's too scary.
It's too scary. But the fact is that, look, I've traveled a lot. I've dealt with a lot of world leaders. We are still the greatest country in the world. Make no excuse about that. But it doesn't mean that we can't call out and hold our own government and officials accountable. And so that's kind of what I've guess my mission has been this Congress and what I hope that it will continue to be. But I'm not trying to do this for like even the next 10 years. So for someone like me, people are like, oh, initially you're going to ruin your political career talking about this. This is crazy. Why would you even want to do that? And then, they're seeing all these big wins coming out in regards to transparency. And I will say, had it not been for the secretaries that have been appointed by this administration, this wouldn't have happened because under President Biden, he actually also tried to declassify things pertaining to JFK, and the National Archives never released it. And so in addition to—
That's not a good sign. None of that stuff's a good sign. Like if you want trust from the American people, you release information. If you want us to distrust you, you hide everything. And you're hiding everything on one of the most important events in human history.
They were up until recently. And we're still documents that the JFK community, because mind you, I'm actually working with, his name's Jefferson Morley. He is not a Republican. He's a Bernie Sanders Democrat. But on this issue, we're working great together. And he's actually been helping me. And he's like, look, I've been waiting for this stuff for like 30 years.
Yeah, this is a hugely bipartisan issue.
It's super bipartisan.
This is something we can all get together. That and UFOs. Like, what's the one thing Democrats and Republicans both completely agree on? Like, tell us what's up. Tell us what's up. Who killed them and are they real? Those are two giant questions that we all have.
I think they're real. The other part is still outstanding, but hopefully when the documents are released from the Russian government later on this fall, that might be able to provide a full picture. Granted, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt because it's still, it was written by the KGB. But at the end of the day, we have a good mosaic.
I wanted to call your attention to one surefire way to deepen your knowledge of the assassination of President Kennedy. And that's to read my 3 books about the CIA, a trilogy of spies that tells how the assassination actually unfolded in the eyes of CIA insiders. You see, my work on JFK's assassination is rooted not in the literature of conspiracy, but in the history of CIA operations. And that makes all the difference when it comes to understanding the events that culminated on November 22nd, 1963. You'll want to check out my 3 CIA books that tell the story of the founding generation of the Central Intelligence Agency and what 3 insiders actually thought about JFK's assassination. Meet charismatic Station Chief Winston Scott as he surveils Lee Harvey Oswald 6 weeks before Dallas. Meet urbane CIA Director Richard Helms as he fends off President Richard Nixon's attempts to blackmail him over JFK's assassination. Meet James Angleton, the ingenious, paranoid, and sinister counterintelligence chief who had controlled the agency's file on Oswald since 1959. In these books, you'll see the real historical foundation of the events that led to President Kennedy's assassination, and you'll understand this event in a much deeper way. Check out my books at jeffersonmorleybooks.com. You can buy all of these books there. As well as my other nonfiction book, Snowstorm in August. So check out the Trilogy of Spies.